Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and today we've got a classic crime drama saga that really is a great cinematic masterpiece. And this trilogy is actually a trilogy of some of my favorite films of all time. So today I'm thrilled to announce we're going to deep dive into the Godfather trilogy on 4K Ultra HD. And this is the brand new 4K restoration and remaster that's been released on 4K Ultra HD. Now, I've been working non-stop for the last several days to get this review completed for all of you. So this review should be coming out for all of you to watch roughly about a week and a half to 2 weeks before the release date. So that should give you plenty of time to watch this review, find out what my review score is at the end, and determine if this is something you're going to want to buy or pre-order. So today on this special review, we're going to be doing my exclusive 4K versus the original Blu Ray releases image comparison. And that's something I do exclusively here on this YouTube channel. It takes me a lot of time and work to get all the data off of these discs, as well as to exclusively test all of these to share all of my findings with all of you. I'm also going to go in and give you my thoughts on the movies, give you kind of a short mini movie review, run through the specs that come on this complete series, talk about the special features, and do an unboxing, show you what this actually looks like, what you get in it, and then at the end I always wrap it up with my review score. So at the end I'll give you a sum up of what the quality of this is in comparison to hundreds of other Blu-rays and 4K releases that I've reviewed over the years. So at the end, that'll give you an idea of how this compares and if this is worth spending your money on and upgrading to this over the previous Blu-ray releases. Now to start off here, we're going to start off with the original Blu-ray releases here. Now, I have the Coda, which is the new release of the third Godfather film that they did in 2020 on Blu-ray. And then I also have the original Francis Ford Coppola restoration on Blu-ray. So we're going to be comparing image comparison-wise, as you see above, to this original release to the new 4K Ultra HD release. Now, there are a lot of big changes that I noticed right off the bat when I first put it in. And that's probably what you're noticing up above in comparison from this Blu-ray release to the new 4K. First thing you'll notice right off if you own this Blu-ray release is that it did have a very yellowish and brownish tint and tone to it. That is now gone in the new 4K Ultra HD release. And so basically that brownish yellowish tint and tone that was in this original Blu-ray release that you see above was more or less indicative to the fact of that the films themselves had basically degraded so much over time from when they were originally released because they were played so often in theaters. So they really needed to have a new color grading done, and that was done originally with this Blu-ray release, but it kind of still had some things that needed tweaked to make it represent more what it would have originally looked like when it first aired in theaters, without those films having been passed around and played 50 to 100 times, and those degrading over time. And that is what I'm happy to say is what was so important with this new 4K Ultra HD release. And I really do feel like it's something that kind of got missed a lot of the times that people haven't talked about. This new 4K restoration was very important because there's so many things that have been advanced from when they originally released this Blu-ray release originally of the original 3 Godfather films, that now with the technology they were able to color grade it to represent more what it should have looked like when this original Blu-ray release had come out. So it's kind of like they built upon this original Blu-ray release. And I will say a huge shout out and thank you to American Zoetrope, because without their work and the time they put in, I wouldn't be able to review this and none of us would be able to watch this. So huge shout out and thank you to them and to Paramount Home Entertainment for sending this to me for review. Now, as all of you know over the years, whether something's sent to me for review or not, never changes my review score, never changes the testing and all of the work I put behind this. As you probably noticed above there with those changes, this did have a lot of things that needed fixed, even from the previous Blu-ray release. And there was thousands of little spots and speckles and tears, smudges and imperfections that have been on this original Blu-ray release that even though they did a ton of work on this, there were still hours upon hours of work that could have been done to even remove a lot of those and make it look even better. Well, I'm happy to say that this restoration really does an amazing job, and they did an outstanding job at American Zoetrope and Paramount Home Entertainment of removing those speckles and tears and smudges. I mean, American Zoetrope must have spent hundreds upon hundreds of hours, as is evident by the special features that are in this where they talk about it, to remove even speckles and little things that were remaining from the original Blu-ray release to even make this a more pristine representation of The Godfather that really is just a revelation in and of itself. And it's surprising how much better this really looks than what the Blu-ray releases looked like before. Now, I've watched this Blu-ray release of the trilogy, I don't even know, 20, 30 times. That's how often I've seen this. So it, in my mind, has a certain look to it. Very yellowed. It kind of has some green in some areas. And it's not that it's horrible. It was a good presentation at the time. It's just I really didn't realize how much more could be done to make this just look outstanding. And there's so many scenes, even in the first Godfather, that you really notice things like their lapels and their white shirts, and like at the wedding, when you put this in and then you put in your old Blu-ray release and you see what the difference is, man, it got rid of that like yellow tone to all of their shirts and clothes, and now they actually look white. And yes, you can still see the glow of the sun, which is yellowish as well, but there's so many more shades and varying colors that really enhanced this viewing experience of the Godfather trilogy and made it just look so much better. Now, as always, in every single review that I do, I will always have the links for anything that I review and test in the description section right below this video, as well as a pinned comment in the comment section below. So if after watching my review and hearing my review score at the end, you do decide you want to pick up and buy this or pre-order this, make sure to go down to one of those links below in either the description section or as a pinned comment. Now, with this new 4K restoration of the trilogy here, it does retain the natural film grain. They didn't DNR it out or use the program Neat to try to control or remove it. It does look really good over the previous Blu-ray releases in a substantial way. Now, you do notice the film grain slightly more in certain areas, and there are certain areas of the films that were damaged so much so that that film grain does have some fluctuations in it, though they're not so heavy or bad that it makes it so you can't see it. But I will say, overall, there is some areas that will have grain fluctuations in it. Now, to me, that doesn't remove any of the enjoyment of the films. As I've talked about in previous reviews, like The Outsiders from Francis Ford Coppola, I did that on a review quite a while ago, and it's a similar effect on that one. It does retain the natural film grain on it. It is at times slightly heavier than what you might have noticed on the Blu-ray, but that's also because this is a native 4K 2160p scan from what original film elements they have, and then putting it in native 4K 2160p on these 4K UltraHD discs. So it's kind of one of those things that, because of inherent with the time, the basically state of the films, how old they are, things like that, and also how it was filmed originally anyways on the film elements, you do want that original film grain. You don't want them to take it away. And I know there's some people out there that complain and say, hey, I hate film grain. Well, to be honest with you, on these older films, if they remove it, you're going to lose so much of the depth and natural skin tones and hair, and depth of things behind them, lights to darks. When you remove all that film grain from these older films, you lose so much of that detail that, to be honest with you, I don't know why you'd like it anyways, because you're losing natural film elements that you're supposed to see that the human eye picks up on that would be gone. So I do like that they retained that. It's got a very stable picture for the most part throughout most of it, other than some small instances throughout here and there. But for how epic these films are and how long they are anyways, I mean, you have the original Godfather. It came out in 1972 with a 175-minute runtime. Then you have the Godfather Part 2. That came out in 1974 and has a 200-minute runtime. Then you have the Godfather Part 3, and then the Godfather Part 3, the 1991 cut. And you have the Godfather Coda, which is the 2020 cut, which he came back, Francis Ford Coppola came back and reworked the film, basically changed some things on it. And there's varying degrees of people that say which one of the Godfather 3 is their favorite cut. Some people say they don't like it. Some people say they like the 1991 cut versus the Coda cut. I'm kind of in the boat of that I like the Coda cut. Then I'd probably say I like the original theatrical. And then the 1991 cut is maybe my third favorite. So, but the nice thing is, and that's an exciting thing about this release, it does contain all three cuts of The Godfather 3. You don't have to choose between any of them, and they are all in a native 4K 2160p, completely remastered and restored for the first time ever on 4K Ultra HD. And here's the exciting thing. The 1991 theatrical cut are included in the 4K Ultra HD release of this as an exclusive thing. So, both this and the book edition that comes out have those included. So the nice thing is you get all cuts of the third film completely restored and remastered for the first time ever. And that's an exciting thing for those of us that are cinephiles like myself that like to collect all the different cuts of the movies. So that way we don't miss out on any of them. And they all were beautifully restored and look outstanding in this 4K Ultra HD release. Now, if this video helps you out at all, please go down and give either a super thanks or a donation below. I am only supported by all my viewers and subscribers just like you. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so all your super thanks and donations below help me to be able to keep providing you all this content that you enjoy watching here on my YouTube channel. And I'll have the links for the donations listed down in the description section or as a pinned comment, along with the links for the Godfather 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray release. They'll all be pinned down in the comment section below, so if you decide to pick this up or add this to your collection, make sure to go down there and click through one of those links below. Also, if you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, make sure to give this video a like and a thumbs up. Go down there and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you never miss out on any of these exclusive reviews that I work very hard to create for all of you to watch and enjoy here on my YouTube channel. Now on The Godfather, it does retain the original aspect ratio, 1.85 to 1, and that includes all 3 of the films. So they didn't cut anything down, and it does retain the original aspect ratio, so that's good news. Now showing you what you get in this set, it does come in kind of a thinner cardboard case. It does say The Godfather on the side. Has a J card on the back, which talks about all the special features. And I will touch on the special features just a little bit later and let you know what the new ones are that were added that are different than the original Blu-ray release that I already own. Now, it does contain digital copies for each of the films, 1, 2, and then the Coda cut. You do get digital copies included in this set as well. Now, getting inside here, it does come, like I said, with it's a little bit thinner of a cardboard case on it. And they come with these little slip sleeves, and these are cardboard with plastic inserts as well on them, and I'll show you here what they look like. But you get your bonus disc at the end, which includes also your cuts of the film of The Godfather 3 Theatrical and 1991. And I'll show you inside here, has some artwork on it. Then it shows here Godfather Part 3, which I said has those cuts on it, Theatrical and 1991 cut. Below this is your Blu-ray disc, which contains your special features on here. And like I said, it is housed in plastic. It didn't arrive damaged or anything, so it is nice on that. And it does have this cardboard sleeve on it, which the artwork's really nice and it is really glossy. So I won't ding it anything for that, because at least the inside is plastic on here, so the case and the actual discs are protected on here. Now the back of the bonus disc just has a little bit talking about the actual Godfather Part 3, and it is rated R. And I'll touch on that here real quick. All of the cuts of the movie are rated R. So no matter what version you watch, they are all rated R for strong language and strong violence. So keep that in mind. It is really kind of just a crime saga. Things happen in it, violence, language, things like that. On The Godfather 3, it says Coda, the death of Michael Corleone. This does have the new artwork on it, and this does say feature film and special feature on it. So this does have a little bit different artwork on the back. It has a line from the movies. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, Michael Corleone. I did like that little touch they added to it. Then you have The Godfather Part 3 here. I like the artwork again. More artwork on the inside. And then on this disc here, feature film, special feature, 4K Ultra HD. And then on the back here, keep your friends close but your enemies closer, another quote. And this is The Godfather. You open it up, obviously more artwork, and this is The Godfather disc on 4K Ultra HD. Now, I will touch on this. On the back, it does have the famous quote, "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse." On the discs in this set, I tested each one of them as I exclusively do on this YouTube channel. Every single disc that's in here is region-free, including the Blu-ray that has the special features. So no matter where you live worldwide, if you want to import this, I put that link down there in the description section. It'll ship it anywhere worldwide. So the nice thing is, this entire set is region-free. You'll be able to play it in any 4K Ultra HD player anywhere worldwide. No speed up, no slowdowns, no issues playing any of the special features no matter what. So that's great news for all of my international audience as well. Now talking about the special features in this set, it does contain some new special features that have not been released before. A lot of them are specifically about the new restoration and what they did, kind of talking about the history of The Godfather, kind of what brought it to life, things like that. So you do get a new introduction to The Godfather by Francis Ford Coppola. You get another new special feature called Full Circle, Preserving The Godfather. That one was personally one of my favorite. And it talks about American Zoetrope and them working on it. James, that works with American Zoetrope, the lead archivist, how he went through and did the restoration on this, how they all worked on it. Numerous people at American Zoetrope and the hard work they put behind this and how long they worked on picking this apart and getting speckles and little grains and smudges and fingerprints, and even more so restored and repaired from the original Blu-ray release. And I really enjoyed that, and personally think before you sit down and watch the films, you really need to watch what went into this 4K restoration and why this really is so important to preserving a lot of these great masterpieces and classics, and why this really needed to be done. Even though that Blu-ray release existed before, there was so much more that could be done done to restore this, to bring this up to 4K Ultra HD and native 4K representation, that really does make it such a worthy upgrade and really is worth the money for how much time and hard work they put into this and how great they did with restoring this. Man, it was such a great watch. Then you have the Capturing the Corleones. That's another new special feature. Then we also get the Godfather home movies, and that one I really enjoyed. And that's different home movies about behind the scenes, different actors, obviously Francis Ford Coppola on it. Then's another personal favorite of mine, which is restoration comparisons. And the reason that's a personal favorite of mine, as all of you know from watching hundreds of videos here on my YouTube channel, there's a lot of work in doing those restoration comparison videos. It takes a lot of time getting those comparisons together to show everybody what it looks like. And that one I really enjoyed because of how much hard work I put in these exclusive comparisons I do here on my YouTube channel. That one really hit home and was really an enjoyable one, showing how much work that went between the previous Blu Ray release and this new 4K restoration is really eye-opening. Now audio-wise, we do get English Dolby True HD 5.1 on this. And that's in English. We also get an English Dolby Digital mono track on each of the films. And that's the same on each one of the films. There was no audio lag, audio issues. I didn't have any stutter in it or audio issues whatsoever. But I will touch on this real quick just for a second. There was one thing, and I've talked about this recently. I did a recent video on how to clean your Blu Ray and 4K discs properly. Now, there was an interesting thing. I've talked about this a lot recently. On 4K Ultra HD discs and on Blu-rays, a lot of the times they'll come with a film on it. This film is what they use when they're manufacturing these. It kind of gets on them from basically when they're manufacturing things they spray on them, or also the plastic breathing, basically the colorization of when they print on the back of the disc. There's numerous things that add to this film that's on there. That film does come off, and if you want to know how to remove it properly, I actually made a video that I'll post the link above. When you get done watching this video, you can go watch that. The only thing I did run into that I thought I'd touch on, and it's common in most modern 4Ks or Blu-rays, a lot of the times if you on your disc after you get it, you see there's kind of like little areas that have like, kind of looks like puddles on the disc, and that's kind of that film that's on it. And if you clean it the proper way that I explained in that video, it removes it without damaging the disc in any shape or form. If you're using a high-end 4K player, which is common in like Panasonic UB820s, because they're using such high-end lasers to scan every bit of data and every bit of ounce of image they can get off of those discs, it does sometimes, if you don't remove that film, will cause stutters or frame stutters or blocking in it. That is not a mismaster on this disc, and I didn't have any issues with it once I cleaned it, but here's what I did to test it for all of you. I always clean all my discs right off the bat when I get them. This time, I hawed on them to see if there was actually some of those films present on them, and there was. Just on 2 of them had little spots on them. I went and played the film and watched it without cleaning it on my Panasonic UB820. There was a couple of frame stutters where it would kind of like just jerk, and it would kind of have blocking around it. So then I took the disc out, I cleaned it, inserted it right back in, went back, watched those same areas again. There was no frame stutter whatsoever. So take that with a grain of salt that if you do have any sort of on a modern 4K or Blu-ray, sometimes when you have a high-end 4K player, it can cause that because of that film that's on the disc. That's not a mismaster in this case. I had no issues whatsoever playing any of the discs. Once I removed that little bit of film that was on a couple of that had caused that. A lot of those can just be resolved by properly cleaning your disc. So I'm happy to announce there was no issues, no audio lag, no frame stutter, nothing wrong actually with the discs or the mastering on these discs whatsoever. Now, these do have a brand new Dolby Vision and HDR10 presentation on them, and it looks stunning. I mean, the Dolby Vision and the HDR10, regardless of which set I played it on, man, they brought so much lights and darks and color variations that were never present on that original Blu-ray release. That really did just make this shine and made this a beautiful presentation, and the best the Godfather saga has ever looked. Now, as far as the rest of the special features go that are contained in this set, from what I can tell going through in comparison to the previous Blu-ray release, everything that I could see is contained in this, plus all the new ones that are in this set that are not obviously present in the previous Blu-ray release. So it does look like everything was ported over, so there's not really any reason that I could see to retain this original Blu-ray release as of right now. Now, it did take me a long time going through trying to compare each one of those special feature-wise. So in that sense, this is a worthy upgrade in that alone, because you get everything contained that I could see that was in the previous Blu-ray without missing out on any of them, plus a bunch of new ones. Now overall, for the Godfather's 50th anniversary, I'm blown away by what they were able to do and bring in this 4K Ultra HD presentation. Now, as I said, because of the time period of the film and how it was filmed, and just because of the state of some of those films, because they were played so many times, when The Godfather originally released, they didn't, I guess, expect it to be as widely accepted and as widely watched, so they kept getting sent around to theater after theater, and those reels got damaged because they were played so heavily. So they've done an amazing job restoring this. And to be upfront with you, I can't imagine ever really watching those Blu-rays ever again, because what they took from those Blu-rays and that restoration that was done before, and then took it to a whole new level, really brings The Godfather to just brand new heights. And I was so enjoying every second of watching Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece. And these really are masterpieces. Some people might say, hey, I don't like the third one, throw the third one out. Not me. I've always thought I like each one for different things. No, do I think the third one didn't have its flaws at the time? Sure. Do I think the Coda restoration, the new release in 2020, kind of fixes some of those? Yes. But at the same time, because I'm a cinephile and love cinema for many reasons, I don't see why each one of us can't enjoy each cut of the film for its own thing. And that's what I've learned as time has gone on, the older I've gotten, is to enjoy certain films for what they are. Don't try to say, hey, I want them remade, hey, let's go back and take it away, because you know what? It is what it is. It exists. That's the history of the film. Enjoy the history of the film. Enjoy the masterpieces for the way they are. Watch each cut for different reasons of what you enjoy out of it. And enjoy what you spent your money on and the hard work that went into these releases. And enjoy what Francis Ford Coppola and all of the amazing actors, James Caan, I loved him in this, just all the other amazing actors that are in this, and what they did to present these films for all of our enjoyment. Now, as I talked about with the slight grain fluctuations throughout it, and things that I understand are going to exist no matter what, because they simply can't be repaired because of what's happened over times with the films. They're so slight and so brief throughout this, they're never going to deteriorate from your enjoyment of these great films. My review score for this release is an outstanding 9.8. American Zoetrope, Paramount Home Entertainment did an outstanding job with this release and didn't have any issues with any of the discs, which is always a great thing and very enjoyable, knowing that when I watched this, I didn't have to worry about a disc replacement program or anything like that, and I really did enjoy what they did with this. And it is something that I highly recommend as a must-buy. As most of you know on this YouTube channel, that's very rare when something comes out that it's a must-buy. This is a must-buy. You must buy this, add this to your collection, sit back and enjoy each and every cut of the film, then determine which one's your favorite. But enjoy them all and enjoy the journey throughout, seeing the work that American Zoetrope and Francis Ford Coppola did to present this in 4K Ultra HD for the first time ever, and for us to get to enjoy this with the new color grading to show so much more that exists in this film, that even in the dark scenes, the darks are so inky and just look so wonderful for the age of this film. Now keep in mind again, The Godfather, the original film, came out in 1972. So that film grain's always going to exist there, and it does look good on this and looks even better than what that previous Blu Ray release ever presented ever before, and is just an absolutely outstanding release. Can't recommend it enough. Now, as most of you know, I get really excited when it's something like this that I've loved for years and years to see if they're going to do a good and well worthwhile restoration on it. This is, and I was so thrilled because I kind of get nervous sometimes when studios are going to go back and work on something, and I worry that they're maybe going to either ruin it or make it waxy looking. That's why with this one, I sat watching through each one of these, testing them, going through doing the image comparisons for all of you above, and I was so happy with the results out of this. And I hope you're happy and excited for this as well. Like I said, I put that link for The Godfather down in the description section below and as a pinned comment. So if you decide you're going to pick up or add this to your collection, make sure to go down there through one of those links and click through that. Takes you straight out to Amazon at no extra cost to you, and that helps to support this YouTube channel just a tiny bit. Also, if you enjoyed this review and this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, make sure to go down and give a donation through either the Super Thanks button or the PayPal donations button. That goes right back in. Let me know in the comment section below if you're excited about this now. If you were waiting for my review to determine if this was something that was worth spending your money on and upgrading to, and if you're really excited and happy now that you know that this is worth adding to your collection and that it really is such an enjoyable 4K restoration. So make sure to start that conversation down there in the comment section. I always love to hear from all of you. This is another review I really had to contain my excitement, if all of you kind of noticed that. I was so thrilled and excited with how this turned out. And so I try to contain it till the end so that way you kind of get it all in my review score. 9.8, just outstanding. You must buy this and pick this up. I had a wonderful time with this one today. Make sure to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification if you haven't done so already. That way you never miss out on any of these early or exclusive content that you're only going to find here on my YouTube channel. I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got something new and exciting coming out very soon.